Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're unpacking a massive, high-stakes clash from the 2026 World Cup group stages, Australia versus Turkey. This match literally had everything you'd want as a fan: an electric atmosphere, crazy pressure, and just a beautiful clash of football philosophies. With qualification on the line and the whole world watching, this wasn't just a game, it was a high-speed, tactical chess match.
And it brings up a really compelling question, one I want you to keep in mind as we go through this. How do you completely dominate a World Cup match without actually controlling the ball? It kind of flips everything we know about modern, possession-based football right on its head, doesn't it? Well, as we're about to see, there's a massive difference between just having the ball and actually controlling the game.
Okay, let's dive right into our tactical chalkboard. We'll look at the clash of tactical styles, that crazy 27th minute transition, what happens when possession hits a brick wall, the decisive counterattack, and finally, why efficiency beats ball control.
Kicking things off with Part 1, the clash of tactical styles.
Right from the jump, the contrast was just wild. The stadium is totally deafening, right? A sea of gold and green versus Turkish red. And Turkey comes out swinging, wanting the ball. They're pinging quick passes, trying to dictate the tempo, stretching the pitch to pull the Aussie defenders out of position. But Australia, well, they had a totally different blueprint. They locked into this incredibly disciplined, compact defensive shape. They were totally fine just soaking up all that pressure, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Basically, Turkey had the ball, but Australia had the plan.
Which brings us to Part 2, the 27th minute transition, the first strike.
Now this is where the game totally flips. Turkey is pushing hard, but then, bam! Step 1, the Aussie midfield steps up and wins a massive duel right against the run of play. Step 2, because Turkey's fullbacks were basically playing as wingers to keep possession, they left these huge, empty runways behind them. Australia instantly exploited that space, breaking at absolute lightning speed. And Step 3, the ball finds Nestory Irankunda. And man, instead of panicking, he shows insane composure for his age and just buries a clinical, unstoppable finish. A literal textbook counterattack.
1-0 Australia. Honestly, the stadium just erupted, completely against the momentum of those first 25 minutes. It was a massive shock to the Turkish system, but for Australia, total validation of their entire setup.
Moving right along to Part 3, possession meets a wall, the second half tension.
So, after halftime, Turkey is desperate. They come out pushing harder than ever for an equalizer. But they ran straight into a brick wall, and a huge part of that wall was Australian goalkeeper Patrick Beach. This was an absolute masterclass. It wasn't even just about the saves. It was his elite communication keeping that defensive line glued together. He was hyper-alert, owned his penalty area, and made the calmest decisions under insane pressure. By the 60th minute, he was practically living rent-free in the Turkish attackers' heads. He completely neutralized their momentum just by being totally unshakable.
I love this quote because it hits the nail right on the head. Every cross was contested, every shot was challenged, every attacking move was met with determination. Just imagine how exhausting that is for an attacking team. Turkey is passing, probing, looking for just an inch of space, and absolutely nothing gives. You could literally see the frustration building up on the pitch. The Aussie defensive block was an absolute fortress.
And that sets the stage perfectly for Part 4. The decisive counterattack. History repeats.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why Australia's game plan is so lethal in a tournament like this. We're in the 75th minute and Turkey is getting super desperate. Step 1, they overcommit way too many guys forward, leaving miles of space in the back. Step 2, Australia sees it, hits the gas, and breaks forward into that huge gap, catching the Turkish defense totally scrambling. Step 3, Connor McPhail gets the ball, spots his window, and unleashes this brilliant strike. It was a carbon copy of the first half. Wait for the mistake and ruthlessly punish it.
2-0. That was the dagger. It basically doubled the lead and totally shattered whatever hope Turkey had left. The Aussie fans were going absolutely wild because they knew right then and there they had the game in the bag. For those last 15 minutes, it was all about one thing: defending with 100% complete concentration. Australia didn't panic and sit deep. When they got the ball, they managed it super smart to kill the clock. Turkey was throwing the kitchen sink at them, crosses, long bombs, but the Aussie defense cleared everything. Every single challenge felt like a goal for them. They were completely locked in to secure that clean sheet.
Which brings us to our final takeaway in Part 5.
efficiency over ball control.
So the crucial point is right here. If you just glanced at the stats, you'd think Turkey ran the show. They controlled possession, they built up all this pressure, but they totally lacked the finishing touch when it mattered. Then you look at Australia. Compact, disciplined defense, lightning-quick transitions, and above all, ruthless, clinical finishing. They got their chances, and they took them. This is the ultimate lesson. There is a massive difference between just having the ball and actually winning the football match.
And honestly, performances like this, that's how serious contenders emerge. This wasn't just 3 points. It was a giant leap toward the knockout stages. When you build a win on unbreakable teamwork, crazy discipline, and ice-cold finishing, that confidence just infects the whole squad. They definitely put the rest of the tournament on notice.
Which leaves us with this one big thought to chew on. Is ruthless efficiency the ultimate cheat code in tournament football? If you can build an impenetrable wall and strike back in the blink of an eye, do you even need the ball to win a World Cup? It's a pretty wild thought. But after watching Australia pull this off, it's a question every single one of their future opponents is going to have to figure out. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.